Hey, hoodlit.ai fam, it's ya boy Joe Money coming at you live from the Bay, and we got Monet holding it down to the Bronx.
Always reppin'.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into this book, Can't Hurt Me, by David Goggins.
Yeah.
It's all about mental toughness, pushing past the pain, and leveling up no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That real talk, no cap kind of stuff that hits different when you from the hood, you feel me?
Absolutely. Goggins' story is powerful because he ain't come from no privilege, man. He came from struggle, and his story resonates with folks who had to grind to make it.
You know what I'm saying?
For real.
This dude's life was the definition of struggle, man.
Right.
He faced poverty, abuse, racism, all that stuff. Many in the Hoodlit fam know all too well.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy part. He didn't let it break him.
You see, instead of being defined by his past, he used those experiences as fuel. He became a Navy SEAL, an ultramarathon runner, and holds the world record for pull-ups. Goggins flipped the script.
Hold up, rewind that. This man ran 135 miles through Death Valley in the middle of summer. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And he knocked out 1,000 push-ups before breakfast. Like it was nothing.
Right.
This dude is on another level.
It's mind-blowing, right? What's fascinating is Goggins believes we only tap into 40% of our potential.
Word.
He calls it the 40% rule. It's like we got a whole reserve tank of strength just waiting to be unleashed.
Wait, so you saying we got way more in the tank than we think? Man, that's deep. But how are we supposed to tap into that extra power?
Goggins uses this analogy of a cookie jar. Think of each cookie as a struggle you overcame, right? Each one of those cookies represents a time you faced down. A bully worked multiple jobs to make ends meet or held down the family when things got tough.
Hold up. So you're saying our struggles are like fuel? Like each time we make it through something tough, we add into our strength.
Exactly. And when you hit that wall, you reach into that jar, remember what you survived, and use that strength to push through.
Man, that cookie jar analogy is something else. It's like a reminder that we already got the strength inside us. We just got to tap into it.
Now, Goggins takes it a step further with this whole self-accountability thing. He talks about using the accountability mirror. He'd shave his head, look in the mirror, and call himself out straight up on his weaknesses and goals, no filter.
Whoa, that's intense. It's like he confronted himself head on, no excuses.
Right. And it's about owning your situation even when it's hard. It's that raw honesty that can push you to grow.
I feel that. In the hood, you got to keep it 100 with yourself before you can handle anything else.
And that's how Goggins started turning his life around. He didn't shy away from the truth even when it was painful. But there's this one story about him taking souls during Hell Week that's wild.
Oh, yeah. I remember that during Navy SEAL training. He was literally demoralizing those instructors by out-suffering them. It's like he was breaking them down with his mental strength.
What's really interesting about that story is how Goggins used the instructors' negativity as fuel. They thought they were breaking him, but he flipped the script and used their doubt to push himself even harder.
Man, that's deep. So instead of letting the negativity get to him, he turned it into motivation. He used their doubts to prove them wrong. That's a powerful lesson right there.
And think about how that applies to folks in the hood. We often face negativity and doubt from others, people telling us we ain't gonna amount to nothing. But Goggins shows us that we can use that negativity as fuel to prove them wrong and achieve our dreams.
That's real talk. It's like turning that negativity into a challenge. When someone tells you you can't do something, you use that to push yourself harder. Show them what you're really made of.
Exactly. And Goggins didn't just talk the talk. He backed it up. Remember that story about him running on broken legs during SEAL training? He literally duct taped his legs and pushed through excruciating pain.
Wait, hold up. This dude was running on broken shins?
Uh-huh.
That's some next level toughness.
Now, of course, we're not saying anyone should try that at home. But the point is, Goggins embodies that mentality of mental toughness, resilience, and never giving up. He showed us the power of mind over matter.
Man, when you think about Goggins running with broken legs, it makes you wonder where that kind of drive comes from.
You know, a lot of it stems from his childhood. It was rough even compared to what some folks face in the hood. A toxic environment can really mess you up.
Yeah, his story about his dad, the abuse, the racism, the poverty, it's heavy stuff.
He even talks about this thing called toxic stress, like how constant trauma can have long-term effects on your mind and body. Think about it. You're always on edge, never feeling safe. It takes a toll.
Man, that's real. A lot of folks in the hood deal with that. Just trying to survive can be stressful, you know?
Yeah.
Always looking over your shoulder, never knowing what's going to happen next.
Exactly. And it can lead to problems down the line, learning disabilities, anxiety, even physical health issues.
But what's crazy is that Goggins didn't let his past define him. He found a way to turn that pain into power. It's like he flipped the script on his whole life.
There's this story about him working at a skating rink, just cleaning up after everyone else. It was a dead-end job, and he saw his reflection in the mirror one day, and he was disgusted with himself.
Man, I feel that sometimes you got to hit rock bottom before you can really start climbing back up.
Right, and for Goggins, that was his wake-up call. He realized he was living a lie, pretending to be someone he wasn't. That's when he started using that accountability mirror, calling himself out on his weaknesses.
So instead of making excuses, he faced the truth head on. That takes guts.
And then he decided to join the Air Force. Now, that's a huge leap, especially coming from where he did.
I mean, joining the military is no joke. It takes discipline, dedication, all that.
And get this, he failed the ASVAB, that's the entrance exam, twice.
Dang. So even Goggins had setbacks, but he didn't let that stop him.
Nope. Instead of giving up, he studied like crazy. He even used this wild memorization technique where he would write out entire textbook pages over and over again.
Man, that's dedication. He knew he had to work harder than everyone else to catch up.
It's like he understood that sometimes hard work can beat talent. He wasn't afraid to put in the effort.
That's a lesson for all of us, right? Even if you don't start off with all the advantages, you can still achieve your goals if you're willing to put in the work.
And then there's the story of how he lost over 100 pounds in 3 months to get ready for the Air Force. He was hitting the gym twice a day, riding the stationary bike for hours, swimming, all on a super strict diet.
Hold up, 100 pounds in 3 months. That's insane.
It is, but it shows his commitment. He had a goal, and he was determined to reach it no matter what.
That's that no excuses mentality. He didn't let anything stand in his way.
And what's interesting is that Goggins says that physical transformation was just as much a mental challenge as a physical one.
So it wasn't just about losing the weight. It was about pushing his limits, proving to himself that he was capable of more than he thought.
Exactly. And that's what can't hurt me. It's all about taking control of your mind, your body, your life. It's about using that power to achieve anything you set your mind to.
Now, even though Goggins went on to become a Navy SEAL, his journey wasn't all smooth sailing, right? He hit some roadblocks along the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He faced setbacks just like anyone else. He actually got dropped from his first attempt at SEAL training because of a medical issue.
For real. So even with all his mental toughness, he still had to deal with failure.
But instead of letting it get him down, he used it as motivation. He came back even stronger and pushed himself harder than ever before.
That's where those stories about Hell Week come in, right?
Yeah, Hell Week is designed to break you. The sleep deprivation, the cold, the constant physical and mental challenges. It's brutal.
But Goggins thrived in that environment. It's like the tougher it got, the more he dug in.
He talks about using his mind to overcome the pain, to take the souls of the instructors by outperforming them.
So he literally turned their negativity into fuel, like we were talking about before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was playing a different game than everyone else. He understood that mental toughness was the key to success, even more so than physical strength.
That's a powerful lesson, man. It's about finding that inner strength, that resilience to keep going even when it feels impossible.
And you know, that's something we see a lot of in the hood. People overcoming incredible odds just to survive.
It's true. There's a certain grit that comes from facing hardship, from having to fight for everything you have.
And Goggins embodies that grit. He's the ultimate example of what's possible when you refuse to let your circumstances define you.
His story is inspiring, but it's also a challenge. It's like he's saying, look, I went through all this, so what's your excuse?
He's pushing us to examine our own lives to see where we're holding ourselves back.
To step up and become the best versions of ourselves.
And that's a message that can benefit everyone, no matter where you come from.
Okay, now we got to talk about one of the craziest stories in the book, the one where Goggins runs on broken legs during SEAL training. He literally duct taped his shins and kept going.
It's almost unbelievable, right? That level of pain tolerance is incredible. It really shows the power of the mind.
But it also shows that sometimes you got to get creative to overcome obstacles, even if it means bending the rules a little bit.
And you know, that resonates with the Hoodlet fam too. We're always finding ways to make things happen, even when the odds are stacked against us.
We might not always have the traditional resources, but we got heart and we got determination. We find a way to make it work.
It's that hustler mentality, that resourcefulness. Goggins shows us that anything is possible if you're willing to put in the work, to push past your limits, and to never give up on yourself.
But even Goggins, with all his mental toughness, faced some health challenges later in life. His body started breaking down from all the extreme training he put it through. It's like even the toughest dudes got their limits.
His story is a reminder that we need to take care of ourselves even when we're pushing for our goals.
So what did he do? Just give up on everything? Nah, man, giving up ain't in Goggins' vocabulary. He found a new way to challenge himself.
He discovered the power of stretching and how it could help him heal and rebuild his body.
All this stretching. Like yoga and stuff? That's wild. I never pictured Goggins doing yoga.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for him at first. He was used to being all about strength and power, pushing himself to the limit.
I bet. Stretching can be deceptively hard, especially for someone as built as Goggins.
But he approached it with the same discipline and determination he brought to everything else.
That's a powerful lesson right there. It's like there's always something new to learn, a new way to challenge yourself, even if it's outside your comfort zone.
It shows that personal growth is a lifelong journey. It's not just about physical strength or mental toughness. It's about finding balance and taking care of yourself.
That's real talk. We often neglect our health in the hood, especially mental health. There's a stigma around seeking help showing vulnerability.
And Goggins is showing us it's okay to ask for help, to take a step back and focus on self-care.
It's about recognizing we're all human. We all got limitations.
Exactly. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. It's all connected.
What's really inspiring about Goggins is that he ain't just about pushing himself to the limit. He's all about helping others level up too.
He's become a mentor, sharing his story and philosophy with the world.
And his message is resonating with people from all walks of life, not just athletes or military folks.
His message is universal. It's about tapping into that inner strength. We all have that potential, just waiting to be unleashed.
He keeps it real, talks about the hard stuff, the struggles we all face. That's what makes him relatable, even though his accomplishments are superhuman.
He's not preaching from some ivory tower. He's been through the mud, faced his own demons, and come out stronger. That's what gives him credibility to say, look, if I can do it, you can too.
He's like a living example of what's possible when you combine hard work, discipline, and that unwavering belief in yourself. Now, I know some folks might be intimidated by Goggins. He's this intense, larger-than-life figure.
But he's not saying everyone needs to become a Navy SEAL or run ultramarathons.
Nah, it's about applying those same principles to our own lives, whatever our goals may be. Finding your own personal challenge, your own hell week, and using it to grow.
It's about taking ownership of your life and not letting your circumstances define your future.
We might not have all the advantages, but we got something special, something that can't be taught.
That resilience, that grit, that fire in our belly.
And Goggins is showing us how to harness that fire to use it to achieve our dreams.
So what does this all mean for the Hoodlit fam?
It means we ain't gotta let our past define us. We got more power than we think, and we can achieve anything we set our minds to as long as we put in